What's up, folks?
Hey, hey.
This is Two Hats and a Chat, where Jerry and I talk about all things tech, hacks, and cyber attacks.
Hey, welcome.
Here at Wilkes Community College.
In Wilkesboro.
In the heart of Wilkesboro, North Carolina.
Are we in the heart of Wilkesboro?
I
don't think we are.
don't know.
I don't think we are.
We're on the line between North and Wilkesboro.
Are we, though?
Yeah, I think.
I mean, you grew up here. You should know.
Yeah,
I'm just arguing with
North
you.
Wilkesboro is like...
It's over where I live.
Yeah. What's over where I lived?
Yeah. I have to drive through Wilkesboro to get here, though.
Oh. I would say it's in the heart.
Okay. Yeah.
That's why I said it. I don't know. Maybe it's not. Hey, maybe it's not.
Maybe it should be.
I was thinking earlier this week, now that you mention it, I was wondering because, I practice our opening in the shower, obviously.
That wasn't obvious to me, but okay.
But, I mean, that's where you practice things like that, But I was about to say, sometimes I say in the heart of North Carolina. But
oh, no, we're not there either.
But we're not in the heart of North Carolina.
No.
But I was thinking.
What about Wilkes County?
What body part are we in North Carolina?
Yeah.
I was thinking, as far as like the soul.
I mean, if it's standing up, we're kind of a shoulder.
Yeah. Yeah.
If it's laying down, maybe we're a knee.
Yeah. I was thinking, I like to think of the mountainous region of North Carolina as the soul, but I don't know.
I think the people on the Outer Banks would argue.
The coast is nice too. I was just thinking that. It's really nice. I love North Carolina. It's just a great
It's a little bit of everything.
It is everything.
Yeah.
So, what's up, Jerry?
Same old, same old.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Our jalapenos are growing.
Yeah, you were telling me about that.
They're to the point to where I think they're about to bloom some jalapenos.
Do jalapeno things?
Yeah.
And then you'll eat them?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
And the peach
I'll
tree?
bring some in, yeah. So the peach tree, the peaches were a total loss.
Completely?
Unfortunately, yeah.
Oh.
By the time, so
Okay.
they were growing. They were really nice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then we went on a trip, came back, and they were a little bit infested.
Oh, no.
Yeah. I need to figure out what's the word for it? I'm losing. How am I losing words? I haven't hardly spoken today, but pesticide. We need to figure out a safe pesticide for it.
Yeah.
Because bugs really love it.
I've still got 2 left, but it's got like, I don't know, like clear gooey stuff.
Yeah, like
I don't know what that is.
crystallized stuff. I noticed that.
Raylene Googled it, and it's either pectin, which is good.
Right.
Or it's fly strike, which is bad. And I'm like, which is it? And she said, it's fly strike.
Oh. So it's bad.
I said, what about the or? And she said, no.
So if there's a shot at it being fly strike, it's just bad.
Yeah. And then we're back to the pesticide.
Yeah.
So,
we got to figure it out. I have noticed, and I was like, in my brain, I'm like, spiders are natural pesticides, right? They just keep out all the bad bugs. And there's a spider that was making its home on the peach tree, and I was like, this little guy's going to protect my tree.
And he did not.
And not
he protected the tree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He is protecting the tree.
Just not the fruit.
From things that are afraid of spiders. Yeah.
So that's why my wife hasn't stolen the tree yet.
Yeah. Oh, okay, good.
She saw the spider and came home and said, no, we can't have that tree.
It's a small spider. It's not super
that's big enough.
Yeah.
Big enough.
But, yeah, I got to figure out. I've looked up some concoctions. There's like a vinegar mix you can do.
There's always a vinegar mix.
And I've also thought of just going to a garden center and being like, just give me your pesticide that's good for my peach tree. Maybe I could talk to the person who sold it.
That's an option.
And then just say, hey, because she has a peach tree orchard, maybe?
Garden?
Something like that.
I don't know what they're called.
She's got a lot of peach trees.
Okay.
And she sold it to us, and that's why we bought it specifically from her, is so that she could kind of guide us into that. So probably the best course of action is to be like, hey, what's your pesticide choice on this peach tree?
That I can eat.
That I can still eat.
Yeah.
And probably won't get I don't know if they do a second harvest.
I have no idea.
Through the year or not.
I've never gotten a first, so I don't know.
Okay. Well,
I'm not really good at this farmer thing.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, me either yet.
But you did mention something, speaking of spider. Since you mentioned spiders, scattered spider showed up in my newsfeed again.
I saw that yesterday too.
Yeah. I was like, dude, scattered spider, what y'all up to? Of course, in this case, they're up to, 5 years in prison?
Yeah, 5 years in prison for the TLF. Is that what it was called?
Yeah,
the
for
London...
the London Transit Authority thing or whatever.
Something? Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, so since you read it, you kind of know where I'm going with this, but it's like, they were teenagers.
They were.
And
18 and 20 is what it was?
Well, they are now, but when they did it, they were 17 and 18.
Yeah, because they were. It was 2024.
Yeah.
Is what
so,
I read.
It's just a couple of years ago. And so they did their attack on Saturday night at 5.
Yep.
Because it's going to take longer to be spotted. Okay, that's, I mean, I don't mean to do a thumbs up for the attack, but for the defenders, realize when you're going to be attacked.
Exactly,
At those times. The other thing I found really interesting, aside from scattered spider, is that how they got in. They called the help desk and got a password reset.
That's their MO now.
Yeah, and it was just kind of like, huh, okay.
I thought that it was interesting that that's the way they got in again recently, is because in that article it mentions that some sort of London agency believes that scattered spider is like an actual threat. Is what the article said, and I'm like, it doesn't sound like they're the threat. It's people that are not prepared to. It's the system that could.
It seems like it's relatively easy to defend. It just comes down to for all you blue teamers out there, it comes down to training, professional development for our staff, making sure our help desk does not reset passwords on the phone.
Yeah, it's almost like the line of steps to follow for the people helping someone. That system probably needs a rework.
Yeah, it's and it ties into for my students in our security class that I was doing yesterday morning. We're actually talking about governance, which is regulations, policies, and password reset policies.
Yeah,
they should be there, and they should be followed.
These are why. Because
this is why.
And obviously, if they harden that system for a little while before they get it worked out, it will be harder for actual customers to get help.
Security convenience. We both do this a lot in class. It's like you can have one or the other.
Exactly.
What do you want? You want it to be easy to use? It's insecure. You want it secure? It's harder to use.
That's right. And I think that's so interesting that we both spotted the same article.
Yeah, of course we're probably on the same news feeds, and it's I don't know. It's like yesterday afternoon, last evening, or something. So I'm just scrolling the phone.
I was like, oh, this is
pops
recent,
up. It's like,
July 16th.
Scattered spider. What you all up to?
Yeah, I noticed the name. Scattered spider, and I was like, "Wait, Jerry was telling me about this."
Yeah, that was interesting.
Read into him. That is an interesting, and I can't remember where the two guys were from.
England for sure. I want to say London, but I don't really know my geography of England that well, so I could be wrong.
Right.
But they did get 5 years and maybe a few months prison.
I think 5.5 years. Something
but
like
apparently they have both been caught with contraband cell phones while they're in prison and are actively planning, plotting, communicating further attacks. So it's like, what are you going to do?
How recent was the one that we talked about last week?
That was an FBI captured that week. Yeah. So.
Wow. So, obviously, they're still active 2 years later.
They're an active group, so, very active. One of the ones that we're talking about from this London one has been linked to several attacks in the United States. I think they said like $157 million that group got. It was also linked to, and I'm going to get this wrong, Lapros Group, Lapros. I don't have the article on my phone. Oh, I think I'm getting that wrong. But that was an interesting UK group from maybe 10 years ago that did some interesting things.
Right.
Just knowing who's out there, knowing our adversaries, that's important.
Yeah, I think it's pretty interesting, like how much. from what I read in the article, it's almost like they're like half scam, half
I mean,
cyber
yeah,
attack. But I mean, scamming is like
yeah. I mean, that.
synonymous. I
Yeah,
mean, you
yeah,
could. I would label it in the cyber attack crime.
yeah. Oh, they definitely did cyber attack, and then
Because even today, like when there's like some popular scam baiters that I like to watch, and I would like those when you look up the definition
mm-hmm.
of a cyber crime, what they're doing is cybercrime because they connect to someone's computer and they use it as a tool
Correct.
to
Correct.
attack.
Then it's just, is it a cyber attack? You know, and that's where vocabulary comes into play and all of that. But cybercrime is just, if you're using a computer
or any
to
technology.
commit your crime, it's cybercrime.
And it's pretty broad. Like I remember reading the book and thinking in my head, if someone just picked up a computer and used it as a bludgeoning weapon, cybercrime?
I think it's going to be a hard sell, but you could probably try it.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it's going to be a hard sell on that one.
Yeah, it would be. Yeah.
Yeah, that would be a hard sell.
Yeah. But per strict definition, it's pretty close. Pretty close.
I mean, yeah, the because it is such a strict.
It is a tool.
Yeah, if you use a computer as a tool to commit your crime, that is cybercrime.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I use the sharp, pointy edge to stab somebody.
that means I've been the victim of at least 2 or 3 when I'm fixing my computer and taking out that 22 pin or 24 pin.
I mean, are you the victim or are you the one using the tool to do it to yourself?
Oh, wow, you're right.
You're victimizing yourself.
I'm both.
I probably shouldn't go down this too far before I start making fun of victims, and that's just not. Yeah, I mean that's a lighthearted thing, but then it's so easy to be like, oh yeah, no, I'm not.
Yeah, I mean, and you think about, what are the targets for people in these cyber crimes, like cyber, not necessarily cyber attacks, but more in the scam field. It's, it could be anyone.
Oh, anybody. I mean, I have been a victim of scams. I mean, I haven't lost any money, but twice I have responded without even thinking about it. And it just comes down to, what are you doing at the time you get the message? Where are you? All these factors come into play, and anybody can be a victim if the time is right.
It can be anyone at any time.
The only way you can never be a victim of a scam is if you have no digital footprint at all.
Right. And that's nearly impossible to do now.
Not here in the Appalachian Mountains.
Yeah. Well,
of course, they also don't have power and indoor plumbing.
Yeah,
but,
you're right. Yeah.
Choices.
I said nearly impossible. It's the exception, not the rule, right?
Yeah, it's very much the exception.
And I'm sure there's places in Alaska you can just go live.
Oh, absolutely.
Absolute living off the land life.
I mean, where you can do it here in Wilkes County.
You can.
Ash, Allegheny, Watauga. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have too. So, yeah, you can. Absolutely. It is interesting, though, looking at kind of talking about that aspect, how much of the United States still doesn't have, like, high-speed internet connection.
You're right.
And that's just an interesting thing.
Yeah, I found it really interesting when it's more or less when it was about 2013 when I started watching live streams and things like that. And you would see creators from other countries and they're like, oh, yeah, my download speed is like
Godzillions.
50 gigs or something crazy at the time.
Yeah.
I'm like, what in the world? Like when I
get 50 terabytes per second.
My childhood home, I remember going through all the phases, like no internet, dial up, so on and so forth. And just going through all those phases, and it's amazing to hear people are out there with insane internet.
Yeah, AOL just got rid of dial-up, like 6 months ago.
Oh, really?
They just closed down their dial-up servers like 6 months ago.
I didn't know that.
So that tells me a year ago there were still people on dial-up through AOL.
There might be people now, possibly in our county, that don't have internet because of that.
I would not be surprised at all.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would not be surprised.
And
absolutely.
Maybe they probably think it's a good thing.
I mean, it might be.
Yeah. I actually saw something interesting on social media. I didn't remember all the numbers, but it was talking about how all the young folks, how many young men, like obviously children, like in their teenage years, that are talking to these chatbots and stuff for some sort of gratification or relationship status stuff. And it's just interesting the age in which we live with concerning that. It's almost like
that. Yeah.
I don't even remember the statistics on it, but it alarmed me a little bit that that's the case, because I think it says more about the age in which we live than the tool that they're using to get that gratification, right? And it's just an interesting thing. It's kind of like what we say sometimes, and I was talking to my class about this the other day, where it's every IT professional's job to educate people around them and say, sometimes it's not the technology, it's how it's being used, right?
Almost always.
Almost always.
Yeah.
And it's I can't remember the conversation we were having, but we're almost saying, like, if we always point the finger at a company or some sort of entity and say it's their fault that this happened, and then they have to go through some sort of improvement and make it more difficult to use, like we were saying earlier.
Yeah.
It's almost sometimes a detriment to everyone, just because of where the finger was pointed and not necessarily where the problem came from. And I just think that's an interesting thing to mull over.
I mean, that's a whole lot.
It is a whole lot.
It's not just one small thing. That's a whole lot. And as a sci-fi, sci-fi is just my thing. So yeah, that's a whole lot right there.
Yeah.
I have actually gotten some messages from family members about AI that I'm not going to go into here, but yeah, people have some really interesting opinions, beliefs, ideas, thoughts. In fact, just a real quick thing, we're getting ready to start an AI certificate here at the college that is not actually about building AI, but it's using AI, which I think is a really refreshing take on this. It reminds me, and you had mentioned this before, it reminds me of going back like 20 years, how do you Google search? And it's like, even today, people are like really not necessarily that great at it. So how do you create a prompt? How do you use AI in sales? How do you use AI in marketing? How do you use AI in education? How do you use AI in blah?
Right.
It's more, so we're building this certificate that's more in line with the how do you use. And the one who's going to be doing those classes for us was looking for some books, and for an ethics class specifically, which that would be a fun class.
That's a wild one.
That was fun 20 years ago when I was doing my grad work on AI and the ethical issues then. Forget about what it's like now.
There's like hundreds of books written on whether or not, if artificial intelligence actually existed, whether it would be considered an entity.
Yeah, there's a whole tangent there for sure. But one of the books, I was looking at it, that in the reviews, there are generally largely really good reviews, but then there was one review that I don't know what all I really want to say on here, but there was one review that it gave the book 3 stars, which I thought was weird because it was a pretty negative review, but they still gave it 3 stars. So I was kind of like, I don't really understand. But anyway, their complaint, maybe it was sarcasm, which doesn't always come across very well, but their complaint was that the book didn't talk about the fact, I'm pretty sure they said the fact that AI developers are engaged in demonology. And
whoa,
I was like, you just sold the book to me.
Why would it?
You mean it's actually about AI and not about anyway?
Yeah, I mean.
So I get there's people who have very strong opinions, and I think, like you were saying, it's a tool.
Yeah.
And it's not a thing in and of itself. If ChatGPT is sitting here on my phone, it has done nothing.
Not yet.
It's just there. It's like, and if I don't do anything with it, if I uninstall it, it's not there.
Right. Yeah.
It's just it's a tool.
I think people
we need
are
to know how to
getting,
use it.
yeah, exactly. I think folks get a little confused as to how it works. Like I've had some people approach me at church and say like, "This is really scary. What's happening?" And I'll try to explain to them kind of what it is, and you go through machine learning and neural networks and things like that, and it just gets scarier.
Yeah, no.
So
no.
it's really tough to explain that sort of thing. But I do feel like something that is important that comes from it is understanding your data. So
Oh yeah.
What are you actually giving something? And I was explaining this to my students on Tuesday, and I said to them, I mean, think about apps like social media, video apps, and things like that that you get for free. And I'm like, imagine all the entertainment you get. But whenever you first get that app or make an account, there's an agreement that pops up and says like, what all am I allowed to access to on your device? And that is that's what you're paying with.
Yeah.
Is that to be able to use those
it's valuable.
apps.
It's very valuable.
Yeah, because they use that to improve their systems and so on and so forth. And that's what you give up whenever you use those things. So it's almost like if people care, then the thing that they're caring about is not what they think they need to care about.
Right.
And I feel like that's more or less what people need to be educated about is like, here's the actual cost. Obviously, whenever you pay for convenience of anything, you might be paying for more than just your money. You know, you might be paying with
something
your
else,
data or your time, anything really. But that's, like I said, that's kind of like what people need to understand when they're using any of this stuff. And it's going to come to the point where I heard a student say the other day where they're going back and teaching like younger elementary school kids aspects of here's how you actually balance your books and things like that. Here's how you do all this analog stuff that is important that you will need to do.
Legacy.
Even though we have things that do it, like this is important to know. And I think that that's great.
Yeah,
personally.
it's a security concept. Trust but verify.
Exactly. Like exactly. Trust. You can trust that this machine is doing what you think it is, but
verify.
You can verify it by doing the math yourself.
And that's okay.
Yeah.
And you mentioned the end user license agreements and terms of agreement and terms of use and all that. Yeah. Once again, talking about governance yesterday, that all came up, and we were talking about GDPR, the European Union's legislation on privacy. And I mean, for me personally, I understand the business side, so it's like they're using all my data so they can really target me.
Right.
Which I'm going to be online. I'm going to be on my phone. I'm going to be doing stuff. I'm going to be seeing ads. I mean, unless I build a pie hole or all these other things, but I'm going to be seeing ads. It's the reality.
Right.
And I have a choice. I can see ads for cool watches, or I can see ads for welding rigs. Now, don't get me wrong. I'd love to know how to weld.
Right.
I think it's really cool. I currently don't know how to weld. I'm not really sure what I would do with a welding rig. I might blow something up.
Maybe.
I might weld stuff. I don't know what I would do. I know what I'd do with the watch.
Right, yeah.
So, I mean, I have, from those targeted ads, I have bought things. And I'm going to be advertised to. I'd rather have it be something I want.
Personalized and things like that.
So it's like, I'm okay with them having my data.
Right.
I get it. That's the trade-off.
And you understand it.
I understand it.
Whereas some other people don't.
That's your foot.
Yeah, well, we're right next to each other. You can't tell on the cameras, but
no. But I thought that was the pole, and I was like, that didn't feel like a pole. What's that?
Yeah. So the I think that's the main hiccup that people think about is like, well, you might be able to those things might be able to sway this person that doesn't fully understand that. Like,
right. Yeah.
Maybe they'll get into something because of those ads rather than knowing that their ads are trying to target them for something, or so on and so forth.
Yeah, there is a very dark side of the targeting as well. We've really seen it in the United States in regards to a lot of the political stuff. There is a very dark side. There's a very dark social side. The AI, as far as building personal relationships,
Yeah,
there is this dark side. So I'm not saying that doesn't exist, but we need to realize that AI is not going away. So maybe instead of trying to pretend it is going to go away, we need things like this certificate we're doing. How do you use it? What are the ethics of using it? What would be unethical AI usage?
right.
Let's talk about it.
I mean, where does it cross the line from a useful tool to something that is manipulating?
Correct. Yeah.
Right, and that's something that is important for a class like that. How can I tell? Where can I tell? And I'm sure a lot of that comes into psychology as well.
Right.
Like it just fits everywhere with that certificate.
Yeah.
Especially
I think it's going to be a really good thing, and it fills in this niche that I currently don't see being filled. Now, of course, I'm in Wilkes County, so I don't know what's going on, in some of the bigger districts and some of those other areas. But it's a niche that we have people coming out of our high school systems that have not really done anything because AI is banned. So it's like, it's banned, it's illegal. It's like, yeah, you're using it. We all know you are. And there's no discussion. So the discussions end up happening at the church or at some other get together. And let's be realistic, it's during a potluck or it's in the foyer as we're all like passing.
exactly.
And it's like, yeah. And they're like, so tell me about AI. Now?
Yeah. What do you want to know about it?
Woo.
Yeah.
And everybody thinks they want to know how it works. And it's like, no, you don't.
Right.
That's actually not the part you're interested in. You're not interested in the vectors. You're not interested in neural networks. You're not interested in how it works. You're more interested in the ethical discussion.
Yeah. What will it do to me? What's the risk of using it? So
and recognizing that something like an LLM, a large language model, sure, that is AI, but not all AI is an LLM.
Right.
And ChatGPT, we like to use ChatGPT as a term. ChatGPT in and of itself is actually not a large language model.
It's kind of like
It's
Google.
an agent.
Yeah.
Copilot is not an LLM. It's an agent. What are those things? You see, you don't need to know how the large language model works under the hood. We're more needing to know what's an agent, what's an LLM, how are images created, what models are used in that. Speaking of models, what does it mean to train a model?
Right.
Once again, you don't need to know, well, how did it actually learn this? You just need to understand that if I give a computer 500,000 pictures of a dog, and I keep saying this a dog, 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 I do that 500,000 times. Different dogs, by the way. Not the same dog. Different dogs. After that, the computer's like, dude, I know what a dog is.
Yeah, I can tell this dog out from the background of whatever.
So then I can show it another picture, and it's like, that's a dog. And the AI did that because it's been trained.
You're right.
How do we train our kids to speak? How do we train our kids to count? How do we teach them the alphabet? It's actually the same process.
Similar thing, yeah.
Now, one's biological and one's not. Well, the under the hood, we don't care about. It's the process that matters. And I think that this certificate can fill in that gap and help people understand what's really happening.
Or what they really want to learn about. I think you hit the nail on the head there. They don't actually want to know how it works.
Right.
They want to know how it affects them.
And a large language model doesn't actually remember anything. The agent does.
Right.
Ooh.
And then it
What's
feeds
that mean?
that data into...
So if all you're doing is running an LLM, like I run an LLM at my house on my personal systems, but I don't have an agent on top of it. So it doesn't remember our past conversations. It's very short-term memory.
Right.
But then I've built a agent to run on top of that, and that becomes my personal assistant that does remember, that uses an LLM to, as part of the whole
as the back
suite.
end.
Yeah.
And I saw a social media post from, and it was talking about what Linus Torvalds thinks
I
about
saw that.
AI.
I was reading that this morning while I was waiting for you, actually.
Yeah, so for those that don't know, Linus Torvalds is the guy who, the father of Linux is what people would say, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the mother.
Yeah, and yeah, he
Well,
made,
no, actually, maybe Unix is the mother.
yeah, exactly.
So maybe we'll give that one to Bell Labs from the 60s, 70s.
Yeah, right. Either way, if you use Linux, you know who Linus Torvalds is. Anyways, it mentioned like what he thinks about AI.
Yep.
And I thought his response was actually kind of different from what the people using Linux would think.
Yes, I picked up on that as well, because we're talking generalizations, obviously, but the general Linux user is a specific person.
Right, yeah.
Which, oddly enough, I don't fit that mold, even though I run Linux on all of my systems, but I'm not what people would think of as the general Linux user.
Right.
So yeah, like what you're saying, his comment, like, you would not have expected that.
Yeah, he basically said that he's totally fine with AI as a tool.
As a tool.
Because I remember seeing, and obviously this could have been taken a little out of context, because I saw another talk that he was in where he mentioned that he doesn't like the idea of it replacing human thought. It's almost like if you were to say, he explained it kind of like if you were to lay a hammer down, you don't expect it to start getting up and start hammering without you telling it to, or
I sure hope not. That'd be weird.
Or you don't expect to get a pile of wood and nails and just have the hammer build the thing for you. It is a tool to use in order to build.
Yeah.
And he said he was totally okay with people doing that for Linux distributions, is maybe what he was referring to. It didn't specifically say, but it seemed like it was targeted more to like developers, maybe in general, that it's okay to use. He believes it's okay to use as a tool.
The article I was looking at, the specific tool, I don't remember the name of the specific tool. Hey, I don't remember the name of the specific tool, but it's actually an AI debugging tool or bug catching tool. And it's at like a 54% accuracy of catching bugs in this case, the Linux kernel.
Oh, wow.
So as people submit their changes, can run it through this AI tool and will catch bugs. And it's like, well, 54%, that's not that great. It's better than a human.
That's really good.
It's better than a human at catching bugs.
Yeah.
And that's actually the context that he was referencing in the article I looked at.
Yeah.
And once again, it comes back to, it's a tool. What are you using it for? I mean, how many of us are seriously going to say, man, I wish that Microsoft Office or whatever word processor you use, Microsoft Office, are really going to say, man, I wish Microsoft Office would get rid of those little red squiggles and stop helping me spell correctly.
Not many.
No, nobody's going to say that. It's, what are you using the tool for?
Right.
Now you add Copilot into it, and Copilot can make the whole document for you.
Yeah. See that's what you're getting. That's what we're getting at here, is that it's different, right? It's you, and that's one of the things that I believe will be taught in the certificate is how to. We're saying how to use it. Don't. And I tell my students this every year. I'm like, you're totally fine to use AI to learn, because your job is to learn. My job is to teach you and give you an environment where you can do that.
Yep.
Now, if you are replacing you learning with that tool, then you're using it improperly. That's bad. That's a bad use of it. If you're using it to help you learn, so if you take what I said and maybe you didn't quite understand maybe a point I was making, and you go home and have it explain it to you in a different way that maybe you get, that's different than having it an agent read over an assignment I gave you and just do the whole thing for you.
Yeah, they're not the same thing. They're absolutely. I use AI a lot for that. You know, like I'll come across something like, I'm not quite getting it, and it's like, hey, can you explain it to me? Okay, still didn't get it. Can you try it a different way? And because it'll keep bouncing different ways, eventually something clicks.
Right.
I also use it a lot for brainstorming ideas, because it'll just blah, 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 blah.
It just gives you a lot.
But yeah, so our certificate, Dr. Kilby's going to be teaching it, and she is super excited. I was talking to her yesterday. She is so excited about it. So if you are interested in it, not you necessarily, but you, if you're interested, it's even going to be online.
Yeah, it's online.
So definitely, if you want to know more about how to use AI, some ethical conversations about using AI ethically, morally, legally, can kind of like fall into some of those categories as well. You want to really dive into how can I use Copilot? How can I use ChatGPT? How can I make better prompts? How can I be more effective, efficient with this? You need to sign up for this certificate. I think it's going to be really good.
Yeah, I have hope that it will be too.
Yeah,
she is really excited for it. We've talked about it a little bit.
She's
and it's one of those things where she's actually using the tools. She's talked to me a couple stories.
Yeah.
Maybe we can bring her in and she can talk to us about that. But she's done a lot of interesting stuff with it that seems to me to be what you should be using something like that for is an actual assistant to the things that you are doing, rather than trying to see it as a hammer and every problem as a nail.
Correct.
It is more of that. Can I train you to help me, and so on and so forth.
Yeah, it's interesting. I thought we are just going to like briefly mention it and kind of turn it into the Dr. Kilby episode.
Yeah.
But that's cool. I mean, I think it went along with everything. I have to go.
Well, sign us
I know
out,
we're right in the
Jerry.
middle of like an actual good conversation, and this whole show has been entirely tech. Which, no, we had peaches.
There were peaches
we're good.
and plants.
Yeah, we had farming.
It would feel kind of weird if it didn't have a little bit of.
Yeah, we had farming, so we're okay. Yeah, I was actually thinking maybe I should bring in some Hill Street Blues as well, but then I was like, I'm probably the only one who gets that. Yeah, I can tell by your face. You're like, okay, I will ask ChatGPT in a minute. But
no.
It's just a cop show. But whenever they had their meetings, the guy who led the meetings always said, and remember, let's be careful out there.
Oh.
But we're not going to worry about being careful out there. Instead, we're just going to, make sure that we go out there and what do I want to say? Let's get security.
Yeah.
Panda out.